everyone, Krista here with I Found Me. Welcome to the Fountain of You. This is a series I've designed to really help you to find restoration in all areas of your life. You know, a lot of you out there have asked me, how can I reverse my age? How can I be a healthy person? Or I just want to be happy, you know? And it's so important to me to share these things with you that I've learned over the years as I have gotten freedom in a lot of areas of my life. It's been really quite a journey, you know. So this is why I have really decided to start this series for you guys, because so many of you are asking me questions. So thank you so much for watching, by the way, for the new ones. And you know, today we're going to be talking about the breath and the present moment. Now, they tie together, by the way, so just hang on, because this is really a cool revelation that I received. And I didn't just receive this revelation, but I have actually put it into practice for a long time now and have seen amazing things happen. Amazing. You wouldn't believe some of my stories, and you're going to get to hear a lot of my stories on this series. And that's one of the things that really excites me the most, is that I can share with you guys real life events that have happened to me. And I want to hear your stories too, by the way. I love to hear stories, so I look forward to that. So I just want to start with kind of a recap of the last video. I don't know if any of you have checked out video 1, which is we discussed believing in yourself, loving yourself. And it was just such a powerful video. So if you haven't watched it, go back and watch it, because you can watch these you can watch these videos out of order, but it might be a little better for you to go ahead and just, watch them in order. So, I talked about how we are powerful people. We are beings of light and love. We are beautiful energy. We are powerful creators. And so you really have to start there, because if you don't know who you are and you don't know the power you possess, then you can't live it out and you can't experience it. Okay? So it's just been such an enlightening journey for me, to be honest with you guys. This whole concept of being a creator is really one that you should take the time to meditate and ponder, because we have a divine source within us, a very powerful source that has been connected to us since birth. And it can create anything. And the way that we create is with our thoughts and with our actions and with our words and our feelings and our emotions. We have a lot of things going on inside of us, but we don't realize that every second of every day we are creating. We're creating something either positive or negative. So my thinking on this was, well, if that's really true, if I'm truly a creator and I possess all the power of the divine, then I should start to learn how to use it and put it into practice into my own life to see if it works, to see if it's real. Okay, so I want you to do this with me. And so we're going to have an exercise at the end of the video. I'm going to try to always do that on these videos, because I know that you need some practical tools to take and try them out for yourself so that you can see if they work. Don't take my word for it, by the way. Try it out. This is what I did when I wasn't talking about these subjects. I was just doing it, experimenting. So, the reason why I brought up the whole concept of being a creator, us, as our identity, is because when we know our power and we know who we are and what we're capable of, then we can start to implement that into what I'm about to talk about on today's topic, which is the present moment and the breath. Okay? There's a lot of cultures out there who understand what I'm talking about today. I have read some books about this, but not very many. This is more of personal revelation that I've received myself, and then I would go and read a book and find it there, and I thought, that's interesting. And I'm sure some of you had that same experience out there, where you're not always necessarily looking for something, but it finds you. And if you are seeking truth, if you're the kind of person who wants to understand some deeper things in life, there's an old saying that says, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. That's me. And I think it's some of you watching this. I really am a seeker of truth. and I want to understand things. And so what I do is I seem to attract those things into my life, which is another thing that I'll be teaching on one of these videos. But when these things come to me, whether it's a book or a person or, just, it's shown to me in many different ways, dreams, people, nature. I could go on, but I won't do that right now. You understand. So, you know, um, when I really started to understand some of these concepts, it really changed everything about me as a person, and it changed my life. And I started to have different experiences. I was already having some pretty cool experiences over the last 20 years, but this really was amazing. And so a lot of you may know some of what I'm about to say, but just hang on, because I'm hoping that I can help you to understand the importance of how these two subjects tie together. So, we are creators. We are beings of light and love, and we are powerful. So, remember what I said earlier, we can create anything at any time with our thoughts, our actions, our feelings. See what I'm saying? And so we need to become aware of that. So the best way you can really become aware of that is to try to learn to live in the present moment. Now you might be thinking, that's an impossible statement. How in the world am I going to do that? And then it's not easy at first, I'll be real honest, because most of the time when we really start to step back and look at our thoughts, like, what are we thinking? And this is what I want you to do. When you start to realize, and pay attention to what you're thinking, then you realize that your mind is normally thinking about one of two things. It's either thinking about the past or the future. And what I realized is, if that's going on all the time, then that means I am missing the present moment. And in the present moment is when we create. Every second of every day, you have the opportunity to create. Now, are you paying attention to those seconds? See, just what I said to you 5 seconds ago is already in the past. I'm creating anew right now. And you have the same divine, beautiful, glorious power within you to do the same thing that I've been doing. And you're doing it whether you realize it or not. So if your life isn't what you want it to be, if you have some areas of struggle or some things you want to conquer, just remember that the only reason why you're still there and living that is because you're not aware of who you are, and that you have the potential to change it at any given time. Because every time a second clicks by on a clock, you can create. You can be aware of that present moment, and you can start to change your thoughts. You can start to change things. So I'm sure this won't be the only video I do on this topic, because this is such a big, important topic. So right now, what I want to do is show you guys something that I learned that's it's really revolutionized my life. When you're in the present moment, like I said, you don't remember, you choose not to focus on the past or the future. But in that present moment, you're just aware. You're aware of everything that's going on. And you do have the capability to shut your mind off. It's hard at first, especially when you have become a slave to your mind, which is most people. Most people are a slave to their thoughts, and they don't know that their thoughts are running them. But we can change that. We can change it. We just have to become aware of it. We have to become aware of what we're thinking. And so I want to tie this in with the breath. Now, every time you take a breath, okay, wow, that felt good. Every time you take a breath, that is your power. That is your divine spark. So when you take a breath, that is energy. And when you blow out, that energy is going somewhere, someplace. It's doing something. And that's the way we're designed. We are energy beings. We are made up of light. And so our power is found, sometimes you'll hear it, people say it's our chi or whatever like that. There's a lot of terms. But I just like to put it like this. Every time we take a breath, that's our power. And we can direct that power. We can direct it. At the end of this, I'm going to give you an exercise, and I think it's going to really help you guys. So I want you to try it. I want you to make a commitment to try it for a week at least. Just try it and tell me what you think. And I'd love to hear your comments below when you do that. Let me know how it goes. And if you have any questions, really, I'm here for you guys. So last year, okay, I really started to get into this deep breathing. And I realized that because I am a creator and because I am a powerful person, when I breathe in and I feel my power, I realized, what am I doing with this power? How can I use it? How can I direct it? And so these are questions that are really important that you need to ask yourself, okay? So, you know, it's just kind of funny because last year I was in this mode where I was doing a lot of deep breathing, and it was affecting my emotional state. Like, I was getting a lot of emotional healing. Now, you know, a lot of the ancient cultures really believe that all disease, all mental disorders, everything you could possibly think of that could go wrong with a human, either, you know, physically, emotionally, spiritually, they believed that it was just stuck energy, and that it was just somewhere in the body that had either a traumatic event or maybe just some words that were spoken over them or whatever, but it's just stuck energy. And it's interesting because when I really started to engage in breathing, I noticed that I started to get a lot of emotional healing. Now, I'm not going to say it was always easy and that was fun all the time, because, you know, when you release things, when you release negative energy out of your body or traumatic events, you're going to go through something and you have to let it come out. And it's not easy, but you can do it. You can do it. And you want to do it because it doesn't belong in there. Okay? You want to be a free person. You want to be able to create with ease. So, as I began to really do deep breathing last year, I was able to see some significant miracles. Let me give you an example of something I experienced last year. I was meditating one day, and it was going really well for me. And I was just having so much peace and joy, and I was feeling so much love inside of me. And all of a sudden, you know, I was my body felt like real light, like it was floating. You know, you're kind of in that in-between stage where you're not sleeping, but you're not really awake. It's kind of in the middle there, which is a really fun feeling, by the way. But I was meditating, and all of a sudden, I saw someone's face, and I heard a name, and I thought, okay. And then I saw this person blessing me with some finances. This was just a sporadic thing. I didn't know what was going to happen. I had never had anything like this happen in my meditation like this before. So I didn't know what to expect, but it seemed so real. Have you ever had like a meditation or a dream that just seemed very real to you and you just knew it was real? That's just the way it felt. Well, that's the way this was. And I saw this person's face, and they had blessed me with some finances, which I really needed at the time. And I started to cry in the meditation. And keep in mind, I was still in the in-between stage, but I started to weep and receive what they had for me. And it was so real to me that I knew that it was something that I had already lived. It was like a distant memory at this point because I had already lived it. Well, I came out of the meditation and I thought, well, that was interesting, and it was a good feeling, like, wow, something just happened. And so that night I went to bed and I had a dream, and this person was in my dream, the person that I saw in the meditation time. And I thought, that's interesting. And so in the dream, I won't go into all the details. It is a kind of a cool dream, but there's a lot to it. So I'll just condense it and say that this person ended up really helping me in the dream and saving my life in a big way. And so the next morning, I contacted this person and I told them about the dream because it just seemed so real. It seemed so significant. And like I said, it happened on the same day as when I did the meditation and saw the same person in my meditation time. So I thought, I've got to share this with them. And so I was brave enough to do that, even though the dream was kind of weird. But I've learned just to step out and go ahead and do that with people, because sometimes people need to hear things, you know? So they thought it was very interesting, to be honest. And later on that day, this person blessed me with some finances. And do you know that it was the same exact amount of finances as I saw in my meditation, to the very dollar? Okay, because the day before I had seen them blessing me, as I told you. And now here, the very next day, after this meditation and after this dream, they're blessing me with the exact amount that, like I said, was already a distant memory to me, as though it already had happened. So you're probably trying to see the connection here, but let me help you see the connection. So make sure that I'm explaining this okay. It has to do with the breath, because the breath is our power, you know? The breath is everything. It's our energy source. So when you breathe in, magic is happening. It's life. And it might sound a little strange, but it's true. You know, when you breathe in oxygen, it's part of your fuel. It's just as important just as important as your food and the drinks that you drink. It is fuel. Did you know that most of us are not even taught to breathe right? And especially in America, it's just not taught to us. And so we're only breathing in like a couple pints of air, when really the lungs can hold up to almost 2 gallons of air. Now think about that for a second. When we breathe in oxygen, there's so many good books about this, which I have not read. I've only read one book about this, which I'm going to show you, just because I think if some of you might be interested in this resource, because it's a great book, and it really helped me. But, you know, the breath is our chi, is our energy. And so as we breathe in, that breath, every day, our breath is discarding like waste, because that's what the oxygen does. It comes in and then it detoxes us. And did you know that our breath on a daily basis gets rid of like 700 billion cells? Isn't that incredible? Like, I can't even imagine how that must work inside of us, but there's this huge detox thing going on all the time when you take a breath. You know, it controls a lot of our brain and how our brain functions. The oxygen helps with the nerves. It helps with pretty much everything. In fact, a lot of the ancient people really believed and taught that when we know the breath, we know God. And I tend to believe that as we breathe, we are breathing in our divine power, and there's like a channel, like a funnel going on, where we are already connected to this powerful divine source, as I've said in this video and the last. And as we breathe in, we are opening up the passageways for that energy to flow. And then we get to choose how we direct that energy, how we direct that breath, and how we're going to use it to create our lives. So many of you out there have asked me, you know, I want to learn how to reverse my age. I want to understand how to be happy, how to have good relationships, you know, how to look at myself in the mirror and just like who I am. And like I said, I've said on other videos, you know, there was a time in my life where I came to a point where I didn't like what I was living. I didn't like who I was. But there's a reason for that. I didn't even know who I was, and so I was living out basically an identity that wasn't me. So no wonder why I wasn't happy, you know? So some of you may be there right now. So what I want you to do is I want you to do this breathing exercise with me just for a second. We're going to do one example of it. There are many ways that you can breathe. There are many ways you can do this. But I'm going to tell you one that really changed. Actually, there's two. But there was one that really changed a lot of things. Now, I want to just warn you up front, when you begin to do this, don't rush it and don't do it too long, because it's a detox. And if you do it too much, you know, you might feel sick, or you might feel emotional, or you can't handle it or whatever. But I'm just saying, take your time. All right. So what you do, well, at least the one I want to show to you, is you breathe in for 4 counts, and you can control the pace. Normally mine is going to be more like 1, 2, 3, 4. That's kind of slow, so I'm breathing in that whole time. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm really learning to fill up my lungs with that almost 2 gallons of air that I can hold. And then once I do that, then I hold my breath for 16 counts. And you want to make it this, the same amount of counts. You want to make sure it's metered all the way through so that everything is equal. And so you hold it for 16 counts. And then when you're done with that, you blow it out for 8 counts. But when you blow it out, you don't just blow it out. You blow it out like you're blowing up a balloon, or you're, what I'm saying, where your lips are kind of like, and you're blowing out straight, because it makes a difference, because that is where you're detoxing. That is where you're blowing out any stuck energy that you may have in your body. And if you're not familiar or used to the terms of stuck energy, don't let that trip you up. Because basically what I'm speaking about is blockages in your body, whether they're emotional, physical, or spiritual. And we can see those go out of our body. We can have freedom from those limitations, but we have to understand what the tools are and use them. So breathe in for 4, hold it for 16, breathe out, blow it out for 8, and make sure it's metered all the way through, so it's the same amount of counts. As far as the speed of it is the same. Now, do this 10 times, okay? And then you could probably do it 2 or 3 times a day if you want. It wouldn't be too much at first. And that's probably all you're going to need anyways. Now, there are other ones too, but I want to show this to you. This is a great book, and I'm going to make sure y'all can see it's Pam Grout, and there you go. So you can get it on Amazon. I just really love this lady, the way that she writes. Read a couple of other of her books. Excuse me, getting tongue-tied. And I just like the way that she's down to earth and she explains things. She has a lot of different breathing exercises in there, and she gives you a lot of scientific information about breathing, which I don't really want to get into on this video, because I know that the ones who are really interested in this or want to take it even further, you'll go and get the book. It's not very expensive. It's a good investment. I've read it several times, and just it amazes me, really. It amazes me what we are capable of and the power we possess, And so, you have to realize that when you are living in the past or the future, you can't create in the now. So imagine if you could find a way to be in this present moment and to become more and more aware of each present moment, so that you can fully engage in that moment and you can create in that moment with the breath. Because see, that is what you're capable of doing, and it's so powerful. It is so powerful. So I want you to try this out. I want you to understand who you are, and reach out to me if you have questions. I am here for you guys. And if you have any concerns, or if you just have some curious questions about even other subjects, or any videos you might want me to make, go ahead and put that in the comments below as well. I have a whole lineup of all kinds of subjects, but today I'm keeping this video a little bit more simple, because I want you guys to understand that you are a powerful creator. You have the ability to create in every moment of time. Now, it's not going to happen like that right at first, because, like I said, we have been a slave to our mind, and we've been taught to let that control us. So we're kind of running on autopilot a lot. But this is one of the areas last summer that I was changing. I decided, I want to become more and more aware of my present moment. I want to become more and more aware of what I'm thinking. And I didn't sit there and judge myself or get upset. I just sat back and I watched every day a little bit more and a little bit more each day. I sat back and I watched what I was thinking. And then I realized that I didn't need to be thinking about a lot of those things. I didn't need to be rehashing a lot of those things because it wasn't helping me out. In fact, what it was doing is it was creating more of the same. And the only way that you're going to be able to create a different situation for yourself, a different life, a different person, is you're going to have to find a way to learn to live in that present moment of time more and more each day. And I tell you, the real secret to this is breathing. Believe it or not, it's breathing. Because remember what I told you, the breath is everything. It is our energy source. And when done properly, it detoxes not only the entire body, but it removes emotional blockages, which is where everything stems from, really. You know, I was sick for most of my life, overweight, not happy. I mean, many, many, many things I could go on about. And I came to a point one day when I realized that the reason why these things were not going away is because I needed emotional healing and I had stuck energy in my body. Okay. And everybody does, because we go through a lot, you know, in our life. But I realized that I had a way to change that. And so I really began to start doing a lot of deep breathing. And by the way, one of the most powerful things you can do, and this is another little exercise I'm going to give you to do, is as you begin to do deep breathing and really do the one I just showed you, and there's other ones too. That's why I really want you to get this book if you can. And if you want to message me, you know, and ask me about some other ones, I can give them to you. That's fine. There's another one where you can breathe in for 4 and then you can breathe out for 4. But on the in-between, on the last count of the 4, you actually are connecting it with the first count of the next breath. So that might sound a little confusing, but it's kind of what I call a connection breath, where you feel connected to everything. That one's really soothing and calming. So like I said, I can give you more information if you're interested. Just let me know. So anyways, you know, it's really important that we start to pay attention to the breath, because what's going to happen as you start to breathe is you're going to realize that your mind has been racing. And so the exercise I want you to do is, I do it laying down sometimes, is begin to do the breathing exercise. And then try your best to silence your mind, even if it's just for 5 seconds. And then work your way up to where you can actually silence your mind for maybe 10 or 20 seconds, and then up to 30 seconds, and then up to a minute. And believe it or not, sometimes at first it's so frustrating because we are used to just going with our minds and letting it take over. But you can cultivate this, and you can each day make progress and get a little better and a little better until you can come to a place where not only are you deep breathing and feeling the effects of it and the freedom from it, or I should say the healing from it, but then if you incorporate that with silencing the mind, then you are going to start experiencing some very amazing results. You're going to start to get inspiration. You're going to start seeing images. Maybe you're going to see some places in your life where you have been wounded and you need to forgive. Okay, now I just named 3 things, but there's more that could happen than these 3 things. These are just examples. These are examples that happened to me. So give it a try. Give it a try and see if it works, because it works for everybody. It's just a matter of consistency and commitment. So, you know, this is why I am doing this as video number 2 of the Fountain of Youth, because, you know, the Fountain of Youth is within us. We are the Fountain of Youth, and we have all the answers that we are searching for inside of us. But a lot of that cannot be released or shown to us until we really start breathing properly. And I just realized I needed to take a breath. See, so I keep going sometimes, and I get excited or I get passionate or whatever, and I forget to breathe sometimes. And that's not like me, because, you know, years ago, I would find myself holding my breath just for no apparent reason. And I think a lot of that has to do with stress and anxiety and all that. But, you know, I realized I don't like feeling like I'm out of breath. And so that's when all of this started to change for me as I started to do these exercises and realize that I have the power to change these things. So do the exercise and let me know how it goes, okay? Because I know it's going to change your life. And I'm really excited for you guys because this is also part of the secret to reversing your physical features, your physical age. And as we go through this series, The Fountain of You, I'm going to be bringing up all the topics that I have experimented with over the years that have brought me the testimony that I'm getting now. Like, I'm not perfect, but every year, not only am I healthier, but every year I look younger. Every year I feel happier. Every year something changes for me. And it's because I am doing these things on a consistent basis. And it's because I realize that there is so much about us. There's just so much about us that we can do and take charge of to change our situation. But we have to be aware of what those secrets are. So remember, you are the fountain of youth. You have everything you need. What you're maybe lacking is the knowledge of how to do it. And that is why I'm here, to help you guys with that. And that is my passion, is just to help you guys become happy, healthy, successful, and free, like the motto of my book says. And I really believe that. I believe that we're supposed to be on this planet Earth experiencing joy and happiness and health all the time. So if that is not your regular experience, then give this a try what I'm saying here, because you're going to benefit from it. And it may help to awaken you in areas that you didn't know that you were asleep in. And you're going to start to feel better. And you're going to start to realize that you do have the creative power to be or do anything you want to do or be. Because you are beautiful, my friends. You're beautiful and you're powerful. And there's nothing stopping you. There's nothing stopping you. So take a hold of these exercises. Give them a try. And let me know what you think, okay? So thank you for watching. And I'm excited about the next video. I'm going to be putting this out very soon. And so stick with me on the journey. And like everybody, you know, like, subscribe, blah, 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 blah. You get the drill. But really more important to me than anything, to my heart, is that you guys are understanding what I'm presenting here. So if there's any of you out there that has any questions or, you know, concerns, please don't hesitate to put it in the comments below and I will get back with you guys. All right. And if you'd like to send a seed or, you know, put a seed into this series so that I can continue to do this on a more full-time basis, there are some links below. You can do that. All right. All right. I love you guys. I believe in you guys. And we're going to see you real soon. Okay. Bye-bye.